minutes in. Carry on Alice breaks their hearts again.
Fully clear in the closing stages. Smart Call wins the Jambi Mid. And Smart Call comes home to win it in the main Johns Farms Paddock Stakes. They're all chasing shadows as Budapest puts 3, 4, 5 lengths ahead of himself and the rest.
Safe Harbour has taken off along the inside. Sergeant Hardy's crying for the line. Safe Harbour charges on. Safe Harbour gets there.
A very good evening, and once again a warm welcome to this edition of Breeding to Win. Lovely to have Grant Knowles back in Gauteng to do the show with us here in the studio. And Grant, I have to say, you're growing more hair on your face lately than on your head.
It's Movember.
Okay.
So, yes, I said to Klavervlei, would they sponsor me for $5,000 if I manage to keep this on for a full month? And I think we're in early stages yet, and it's really starting to be quite tricky. So, well, there's $5,000 for a great cause, for charity.
Absolutely.
I'm going to try fight my way through it. But I'm just worried about the colour of it. It's more grey than it is anything else. I could be a great candidate for a Santa Claus come the end of December.
Well, I'll tell you what. So far, you're looking okay.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm not one for beards.
Okay.
So I don't know how you're going to be looking at the end of November.
I think
if you do manage to get through it.
I think the word is probably warm and fuzzy.
Warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. That'd be.
Well, I tell you what, if you do make it through, you might as well just keep it for December and then just.
Well, I'll get a couple of Santa Claus gigs.
Well, there you go, and you can possibly make some more money for charity.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could even bring you up for the Teletrack Christmas tree race day.
Well, I see Dieter's done quite a good job on growing his beard as well, and there's a few others that are trying. And yeah, I've got a competition with a couple of guys in Cape Town as well as to see, but I've never ever managed to last more than about 10 days. So we're getting close to that period now. So it's going to be a bit tricky, but obviously Movember, it's for a great cause, and we'll certainly be giving it a try. But yeah, so excuse the appearance now, but it's going to get worse.
Well, yeah, absolutely, a lot worse. But never than that, I mean, other than that, Grant, you're still looking good. We had a great day on Saturday for the Empress Palace Charity Mile. Some fantastic racing, I thought, throughout the afternoon. And well done once again to Empress Palace. Bob Urim and his team, I think they put on a great show. It
was a brilliant race day and high quality as well, and certainly looking forward to the next Ready to Run race, and that's going to be out at Kenilworth, and that's on Landsrack Day as well with the Selangor Cup, so great racing there as well. And some nice news coming out of that as well with Vian Smith, who's along with CUDA and CTS, they've added another race on Sun Met Day, Julie. 4 graduates of this year's Ready to Run. So there are only 146 horses in this catalogue. Now, runners that are in here that get sold will have an opportunity to race for 350,000 Rand on Sun Met Day, the 13th race. So a great opportunity to get a very quick return back on your investment as well. But let's not hear from me. Let's catch up with Vian Smith and the Breeding to Win team.
Once again, we take great pleasure in chatting to Vian Smith from CTS and CUDA Insurance. Now, we've got the Ready to Run sale coming up next week, and CUDA Insurance had their inaugural running of the CUDA Sprint on this year's Met Day, and they will be sponsoring the race once again next year. It's fantastic news, Vian, and what a sale it is.
Absolutely, Fia. A very strong catalogue of 148 horses. The top size in the country, very well represented with 11 Captainals, 5 apiece of Silvano, Dynasty and VAR. And also 3 trippies, and as you said, all these horses qualify for both the CUDA Sprint in January on Met Day, and of course the Lanzarote Ready to Run race, which will be in November next year again. So 2.85 million Rand in stakes to be split between those 148 horses. So given that the CUDA race, for instance, is a field of 16 horses, that's pretty good odds. Just mathematically, you've got more than a 10% chance of getting your horse in the race, which I think is excellent.
Absolutely. Now, last year it was open to other sales. I believe this year it's exclusively open just to this sale alone.
Absolutely. Last year we had the 2 sales, the Lanzarote Cape Ready to Run sale, and then the Empress Palace Johannesburg Ready to Run sale, and all those horses qualified. So this year it's significantly less horses with just 148. So yeah, certainly your odds have improved significantly.
Gives the bar such a great opportunity. What a great day to have your race. I mean, we've got big features on the day, quite a few grade 1s, listed grade 2s. Brilliant day, and hosted by Usain Bolt.
Absolutely, to be involved this year was wonderful for us as a business. To have our brand associated with the likes of Investec and Sun and GH Mum and others on the day was incredible. And this year, it seems like it's going to be an even bigger day, and to have that, just the star attraction of Usain Bolt, who's arguably the greatest athlete this century, if not ever. To have him on the day is going to be a massive draw card, and I know that people are going to be coming to the races en masse just to see him, and then you've got the added benefit of all these wonderful races and all these wonderful horses. So it's something we're really looking forward to. And again, imagine having a runner on the day, the CUDA Sprint. That's surely a big incentive to get involved with the sale next week. And
going back to the sale, it's a good sale. We've got the Gallops on Thursday. We've got CTS once again with all their hospitality. It's something to look forward to.
Yes, certainly. The Gallops next Thursday morning at 9:30. The sale starting at 6 p.m. on Friday night at Durbin Vale Racecourse. And then, the following day, the Lanzarote Ready to Run Stakes, which is another excellent, other than just for the Lanzarote Ready to Run race, some other excellent races on the card. So just a wonderful 3 days of racing.
Well, the Breeding to Win team have managed to get round a few of these farms and see some of these horses actually in action, and they look like a really fine bunch.
I really think, I couldn't agree more. And it's a wonderful, if comparing the different sales to each other, it's the first baby race is actually on Sunday, so the Sunday after the sale. So absolutely wonderful, place to buy a horse and to invest in horse racing, and particularly getting new people involved in racing. It's wonderful buying a horse and knowing you're going to have a runner in the next couple of weeks, if not couple of months.
That's it. The fact that people can actually see them in action is an added bonus.
Absolutely, and so you get the opportunity of seeing those horses. And what one should also not forget is that a lot of these horses, on memory, I think it was close to 60 of the 146 horses are already qualified for the CTS Millions races, having been purchased at either one of the yearling sales, one of the CTS yearling sales earlier this year. So all the race levies and everything's already been paid for that. So the horses have been in training. You get to see so much more. You're seeing a horse that's already broken in, that's already galloping, that's had a further 6 up to even as much as 9 months of development from the January sale. A wonderful time to invest.
Well, the inaugural running of the CUDA Sprint last year was won by Brett Crawford's Bold Respect, and he's gone on to do amazing things since, hasn't he?
Yes, he certainly has. In fact, he's running next Saturday in the Lanzarote Ready to Run Stakes. So it's a real class field, and the horses that have won. Well, I was lucky enough to win the Lanzarote Ready to Run Stakes last year with Chris van Niekerk and Sean Terry with the horse Safe Harbour. And you know, the horses that have won these races really tend to go on. So it's cream rises to the top, and it'll be a strong field again, I'm sure.
Well, once again, Vian, thank you very much for chatting to the Breeding to Win team this morning. We wish you all the best with the sale next week and the CUDA Sprint on Met Day. We've certainly got a great time ahead, a great season. We've got the sale next week. We've got Met Day coming up on the 27th of January, an absolute feast of racing. Usain Bolt will be hosting it. And, of course, the CUDA Sprint to look forward to.
Teletrack.com presents Informed, a brand new product for owners, trainers and fans who want to keep up to date with video replays of their racing history. You don't have to go looking for race replays anymore. Simply tell us which horses you want to follow and Teletrack.com will do the rest. Within 24 hours of race day, the replay will be available for you to download, save and even share. We want to make it easy for you. The service costs R49.95 per month, and for that you can follow up to 100 horses. Informed, keeping you up to date with all your racing action. Brought to you by Teletrack.com. Live racing, archives, magazine shows and more.
Well, Citadel has pre-trained some top individuals over the past couple of years. The likes of Futura, Captain America, Atto, Irish Flame and Via Africa, to name but a few. Once again, they bring a quality draft to this year's Lanzarek ready-to-run sale.
We've just arrived here at Citadel, situated just outside of Wellington, and what a glorious day it is. It really showing off the beauty of this farm with exquisite mountains surrounding us. Julia Pilbeam has a draft of 16 going to the ready-to-run sale, and they're a pretty impressive 16, I must say. And Julia's going to chat to us about them this morning.
The Breeding to Win team are here at Citadel Estate this morning, and we're lucky enough to be chatting to Julia Pilbeam, who's going to chat to us about her impressive draft of 16 going to the sale on November the 17th. Julia, thank you very much for having us here this morning. You've got the perfect facilities for bringing these youngsters on. You're very, very well known for your pre-training, spelling, rehabilitation, resting horses, and you've got a super track.
We are very fortunate where we are. We have a sand track down by the river. It's a natural sand and it's very easy to maintain. And we have 50 hectares, so there's a lot of paddock space. We have about 80 stables. We're lucky with the spot we're in.
Well, Julia, as I said, you've got a very impressive draft of 16 going. It's very difficult to single any one of them out. They're beautifully bred with some top stallions. You must just talk us through as many of them as you can.
Well, we have a great draft this year. There's a wide variety. There's not one, there's 2 Kararis and the rest are all different stallions. Val, Trippy, What a Winter, Give Me the Green Light. There's probably something for everyone's budget. Well, we have lot 38. This is a colt by Mumbo in Seattle. His dam, Diarella, is by Fort Wood, and she herself is a 3-time winner, and half-sister to Senor Versace and a 3/4 sister to Negro Amaro, who are both Grade 1 performers. This is a big, imposing colt with plenty of presence, and I think he'll be popular at the sale. Lot 46. This is an exciting Australian import. She's a racy filly by the Johannesburg stallion Turfontaine. Now, Turfontaine is already a sire of graded race winners in Australia, although he's not very well known here in South Africa. Her dam is by Costa del Lago, and she has bred multiple winners. This filly moves very well and is sure to attract plenty of interest at the sale. Lot 60 is called Quick Star. This is a superb oratorio colt with plenty of quality. He's a half-brother to the black-type horse Rodney. His second dam is champion racemare Harry's Charm, and he's from the family of Laverna, Siren's Call, and National Currency. Now, if you're serious about buying a racehorse at this sale, come and look at this colt. Lot 70. Now we're excited to be presenting a colt by the boom sire, Give Me the Green Light. The dam is a 3-time winning Jalad mare. She's a sister to the Grade 2 winner Royal Opinion. This is a well put together colt with good rein and a strong hindquarter, and he's got a good action to go with it. We expect a good gallop on the day from him. Lot 81. This is an eye-catching, beautifully put together filly, who's a half sister to Grade 1 winner Brave Mary. She's by Wait the Dawn, who's such a lost to our breeding industry. This filly is backed up by a strong family, with the dam Mary Lou being a half-sister to African Appeal, and she herself being a multiple graded race performer. Lot 90 is from the first crop of Jackson, and we've all been waiting to see what Jackson's 2-year-olds will look like. This colt is the first foal of the Captain Owl mare Ocean Swift, herself a listed winner of 4 races. This is a well-grown and athletic colt who's come on in leaps and bounds through his prep. He comes from the family of Captain Courageous and Prairie Oyster. Lot 104. VAR continues to churn out the winners, and Lot 104, Vartanium, is by VAR out of a winning Rich Man's Gold mare, Refined Gold. She's had 4 to race with three winners so far, and is herself a half-sister to Loop and from the family of Horse Chestnut. This quality colt is beautifully put together and looks to be a real speedster. Lot 117 is a tall, exceptionally athletic colt by Karari. The dam was a 4-time winner, and she's had 3 runners for 3 winners so far, and these are by lesser-known stallions. The second dam Rambo's Jewel was a multiple graded race winner. This colt is a very exciting prospect. Right, Lot 121. This is an exceptionally good-looking Visionaire colt. He's a half-brother to 7 winners of multiple races, including the Grade 1 performer Fenerbahce. From the family of Pass the Port and Divine Nectar, he's sure to have plenty of admirers. Lot 122. Now this is a colt with class and pedigree. If you haven't bought a What a Winter colt yet, now is the time. This is a powerful chestnut colt out of a 3-time winning National Emblem mare who's had 2 runners, both multiple winners. He's from the family of Royal Messenger, Ravishing and Villendry, just to name a few. Lot 132. This is a very neat filly by Karari. She's out of Teeming, who is a full sister to Grade 1 winner Ivory Trail, who still held a track record of a 1400 at Clarewood when it closed. She's very racy and quick and should put up an excellent gallop.
Well, obviously the gallops are on the Thursday, the sale being on the Friday. When are you planning to ship the horses into Durbin Vale?
We'll be going on the Wednesday the 15th, so our horses will be there from the Wednesday morning for anybody who'd like to come and look at them.
Now you're known for many things here at Citadel, not just pre-training. Of course you do the rehabilitation, the spelling, the breaking, breeding. You've got a little bit of everything and amazing facilities to go with.
Yes, we have on the other side of the farm, which is more newly developed, we have a foaling barn there and feed store and foal pens and big paddocks for the mares. We carry between 15 and 20 mares, and it's mostly clients that breed to race, so then the horses just stay on here, the yearlings stay on here for pre-training. With all that goes on here at the farm, you must have some very good riders. We've got a lovely team of riders. They're working very hard at the moment, and they're excited about the sale, which is it's nice. It's a nice variety for them. And then of course I've got Ricardo, who's my right hand and runs everything on the farm for me, and some seasonal assistants, and of course the maintenance crew non-stop for them. Well, Julia, once again, thank you very much for chatting to us today. It's been wonderful to have a look at the farm and be here at Citadel for our first visit. We wish you all the best for the sale next week. Best of luck. Hope you sell well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, our first visit to Citadel Estate has been a fabulous one. The farm is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful facilities, and the horses to go with.
Great fight and determination. We've witnessed a really first-class performance.
But it's soft falling rain who is powering away. We'll see out the wide in style. A high-class performer wins the Mayor Joel Stakes.
Soft falling rain is drawing clear. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile.
Under pressure that early, deep, and still keep finding in the straight. It just shows you how good this horse is and what heart he's got.
Naddison Park is situated in the beautiful seaside Hermanus and once again have some top individuals on this year's sale.
Naddison Park from Hermanus have got 6 entries on the ready-to-run sale on the 17th of November, and they're here this morning at Durbin Vale Racecourse to have a look at the grass. We've seen them in action, moving and striding out beautifully. I'm just going to chat to you about their pedigrees.
Lot 54 is a bay colt by sale from Seattle out of Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes being by Spectrum, winner at 1600 metres, half sister to Past Master. This is her first foal. Lot 30 is another filly by Rock of Rochelle out of Comet Chaser. Comet Chaser being very well bred by Jetmaster. Lot 100, a bay filly by Water Winter out of Purple Orchid. Purple Orchid being by USA stallion Dr. Fong, and she's got some very, very smart form. Lot 41, another filly by Give Me the Green Light out of Dove of Peace. Dove of Peace being by Irish stallion Lake Coniston. Lot 22, a filly by Give Me the Green Light, who was the leading first season sire in South Africa in 2015 and 16, out of Burnt Savannah, a decent filly herself. Well, Addison certainly looked to have a quality string going to this year's sale, and the Breeding to Win team wish them all the best and hope they sell well on November the 17th.
We all know Lammerskral Stud. They're prolific breeders of Group 1 horses and have always been down the road in terms of having Group 1 horses. Now, Sally Bruss looks after the farm, and they've got a very nice draft coming up for this year's Landsrack Ready to Run.
Lammerskral once again have a super draft for this year's Ready to Run sale. Sally brought them to Durbin Vale this morning to show them the grass and what a well-actioned bunch they are. The colts worked first, a smashing bay colt by Go Deputy out of Iditarod and a grey colt also by Go Deputy out of Cowgirl Annie. Iditarod Trail incidentally has a full sister in PE doing very well, sold from the sale last year. Second up were two fillies, Sierra Line by Duke of Marmalade out of Strawberry Line. The third pairing were again two fillies, Dashuri by What a Winter out of Amora. Danica by Gimme the Green Light out of Alula. The last coupling to work were another two beautiful fillies, Rusty Pink by What a Winter out of Adobe Pink, and she worked with Full Frolic, a Kawari out of Full Card. Their work certainly complemented their pedigrees, some strong female lines and successful popular stallions. Sally was one of the top vendors at this sale last year, and she looks to have done a magnificent job again this year. She's got 8 really, really good-looking horses with great pedigrees to go with.
He's a stallion, he's by Galileo, who's the best stallion in the world. He's out of a Pivotal mare, who's Pivotal's the best stallion in England. He's a great horse.
The United States now striding freely, just well clear with 100 metres to go.
Persuasive on the outside of Wuhater. Winter's kicking on the far side though. She's so tough. Hydrate is coming out of low and one.
The United States being tackled by Haraki. The United States repelling the challenge of Haraki. And the United States draws clear to win the round at by 3/4.
Horse produces a quality, precocity, and soundness. Whether they win at 2 years old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6, they just keep on running.
Taking the lead now for Rosina Pravnik in the Secretariat Stakes. Admiral Kidson on top.
Producing Claverflay Stud have no less than 26 2-year-olds that represent their farm at this year's sale.
The CTS Lanzarote Ready to Run sale will be held at Durbin Vale Racecourse on Friday the 17th of November, and the gallops will take place on Thursday the 16th of November. Now, John Costa is with me this morning, and Claverflay have 26 lots going. John, thank you for chatting to Breeding to Win this morning. Your strike rate for this particular sale has been very good in the past, hasn't it?
It has, Fee. I think we've got about 16% of the sale this year. And in the past 3 years, I think we've had about 22% of the final fields. So it's been very good to us and very good to our clients that have bought from us.
Now, you look to have 26 particularly good individuals on the sale.
We have. You know, we've got a really enthusiastic Pinocchio club. And Pinocchio overseas, as you know, is huge. And we're really trying to grow it in South Africa. But we've concentrated on stallions. We've got 4 Captain L fillies. This is Captain L's basically the last bunch of fillies that will be sold on his second last crop, if you like. We've got a Dynasty colt who's absolutely superb. He's a colt who was rather immature, first foal of Wally's Secret, absolute stallion's pedigree, very immature at the CTS Johannesburg sale. The Pinocchio's delved in and bought the horse, and he's really come on since then, so he's looking great. Very nice Silvano colt, and then we've got a couple of Water Winters, we've got 3 or 4 twice overs, and a couple of Pomodoros, so a very nice spread.
And how are they working at home?
Yeah, they're great. You know, our philosophy about ready to run fee is not actually ready to run, but it's rather about looking after the horses, giving them a really sound base, you know. And Val, I must say, is absolutely brilliant with this. Val will not hurt a horse. She lets the horse do the talking, she brings the horses on in their own time. And basically what we try to do is just to give the buyers a look at the action of the horse. So it's nothing about you know, fast gallops or anything like that. They go steady canters, show their actions. And the main thing about it is that when they've done their work on the track, that they're all sound the next day. And we're very strong on that.
And you've got a good team of staff and good riders.
We have. You know, Val's been sourcing riders from all over the country. And she's, as I said before, she's very particular about that. She's extremely strict about how the work riders work the horses. She's great when it comes to keeping a calm atmosphere the whole time. The horses all walk on long reins. So they, you know, they're relaxed. They get out there, they do their job. And as I said before, they all come home sound, which is vital.
And you've got great facilities, a great track there to work them on.
Yeah, we're proud of our track. You know, it's an 850-meter sand track. It's got a 12% incline. It's very kind to the horses. It's a totally different division as to the others at Claverflay, and you know, we can offer these services to either Pinocchios going for the ready-to-run sales or for people that just want to break and train.
Well, the catalogue's not huge, is it? 146 lots, but they do look to be some quality sorts.
They are, and you know, it's actually great that people do go around to the different sales and do a bit of Pinocchio. It's a vital part, I think, of the game. You know, certain people pinnock foals and then sell them as yearlings. Other people will pinnock yearlings and sell them on as ready-to-runs. It's a vital part of it. I think it's been tough on the pinnockers the past year. But, you know, the pinnockers take all the risk. And I always say to everybody at sales, you've got to go to these sales. Maybe you didn't see the horse on a previous sale. Maybe you saw the horse, it was average in your books, but the horse has come on so much since then. And you only need to speak to trainers around the country. I mean, Sean Terry will tell you of 4 or 5 horses that he's bought at ready-to-run sales that have gone on to win major races. So wherever there's a sale on, if you love the horses, you've got to be there, you've got to see them, and who knows, when your luck might, you know, it might be your lucky day.
Well, as you say, there's a lot of horses that have gone on from this sale, and it is good to see them in action. You know they're sound. It's a good buy.
Yeah, as I said before, you know, it takes the risk away from the buyer, and there's a wonderful carrot at the end of the line of 2.5 million rand. So from CTS's point of view, they're doing whatever they can to attract the buyers, and it's great for us as vendors.
And what a wonderful weekend it is. You've got the gallops on the Thursday, the sale on the Friday, and of course we've got the Lanzarote Ready to Run race here on the Saturday.
Yes, and you know, it makes for great racing, a bit of a carnival atmosphere, if you like. And I think that's where CTS have been really good. They've pumped a lot of money back into racing, and hopefully it'll be good for the vendors, and we'll get the buyers.
And CTS, an exciting sort of change around with Fianne Smith taking over and Kerry Jack now on board, and of course Adrian Todd in charge of protocol. It looks like some exciting movements for the future.
I think it is, Fee. I think it's very important to concentrate on whatever your portfolio might be. And with Vian coming into CTS, you know, he's got his own ideas about how he'd like to take the company forward. More innovation. They've always been a hugely innovative sales company. More innovation from Vian, which is great to see. At the same time, Adrian Todd is now concentrating on export, and I've been on a few trips with Adrian overseas. Adrian gets to see everybody. He makes it his business to get out there and to see as many people as he possibly can. And I think it's fantastic that he has now, together with Chris van Niekerk and their task team, he is now solely concentrating on getting our exports going. And I must say, from a personal point of view, I've got more hope than I've ever had before in this. I think the light at the end of the tunnel is really shining brightly. As I said, overseas there we get so much positive input from so many different people. And I think with a little bit more patience and a lot of hard work from Adrian, I think we're going to get there fairly shortly.
And I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to the sales calendar ahead. It looks like a really good laid out set of sales with our January sale and then another bite at the cherry in April. Yeah,
it's going to be great. Again, being overseas and at the different yearling sales now, we've got even more people that are keen to come to Cape Town in January. I think the buying bench from an international buyer's point of view is growing, and it's growing rapidly. There's massive goodwill out there, Fee. They really want to come to South Africa, and there's a lot of people betting for us. So I'm confident. I think it's going to be a really good sale in January. You know, sales last year were tough, but the January sale was exceptionally strong. And that's because we've got the international guys there. You know, you've got to have your own local guys, but you have to have the internationals. And you'll ask any sales company anywhere in the world, everybody is looking for those international buyers, you know. So racing's a global game. It's just South Africa's just got to get into this being part of the global game, and I think we'll fly here.
Well, it's always lovely chatting to John Costa, and as ever, what a fantastic draft Cloverflay have got going to the Ready to Run sale. We look forward to seeing you all there on Thursday the 16th for the gallops and Friday the 17th for the sale, and of course the race day on Saturday the 18th of November.
Well, Grant, they certainly look to have some top individuals once again on the Lanzarek Ready to Run sale, but I have to ask you, because I know Vell Davidson does such a great job behind the scenes. How is Vell doing, obviously being a close friend of the Alexander family?
Well, obviously she's done quite a few years with the Alexanders. Her and Dean go back a long way, but she's done a great job for us. She's been with us now 2.5 years, I think, and at this point her winners to runners ratio is over 53%. Sure. So she's done phenomenally well. She certainly knows how to prepare a horse. All the trainers that get horses from Cloverflay are saying they are so well mannered and so well prepared. So no, she's been a great asset, and I think she's enjoying it out there in the middle of nowhere. It's not quite the same as being at a training yard or in town. She's out in the sticks at Cloverflay, but she's done a fantastic job, and I must tell you, she's done a magnificent job with this year's crop. And I think it's a fair crop because we've got twice overs, Water Winters, a couple of Captainels. So in terms of sire potency, it's right up there as well. But I think the catalogue as a whole, never mind just Cloverflay Julie, this is a strong catalogue. There are some proper horses in the sale and well worth getting involved in, because there's a lot of money up for grabs in sales incentivized races, and quality horses that can probably go through and feature in big races too. I think we're in for exciting times, Grant. You know, when you look at the quality of horses that we've sold this year alone, you look at the quality of horses that are coming through for the Lanzarek Ready to Run sale, and the quality of horses that we've got running in South Africa. And for me, what was very interesting over the weekend was Mike de Kock's interview when I chatted to him about his younger horses, and he said he's in no rush to take them overseas next year, which I think, even though it's kind of sad for the owners, but for racing in South Africa, for me, that's exciting, because it just takes the game to a whole new level. I think at this stage, I think he also made comment that he thinks this year's 3-year-old crop is one of the strongest he's ever had. Now, you think back in Mark de Kock's years of being a trainer, how many good 3-year-olds he's produced, and if he's thinking that this is one of the better ones, I think it's kudos to all the breeders, because a lot of the breeders are going out there, they're importing new gene pools, they're going out and they're active in the mare market, and they really are trying to up their game, because if the doors do open, which we're all very excited about coming up shortly, we need to up our game as well, because yes, we do well, and the horses that we take out have done very well. But that's the minority of the horses. We need to get that standard throughout. So if the doors are opening up, this continuous process of upgrading needs to take place all the time.
And looking at the stallions that are around, you look at the likes of Twice Over, Duke of Marmalade. Those are the youngsters that are starting to produce Ideal World. I mean, you know, you just think we've got some really top quality stallions. And like you said, the breeders are starting to invest in the mares. They're bringing them through to South Africa. So I think exciting times ahead for South African racing.
Absolutely. I think the international relationships with South Africa have just really blossomed over the last 3 or 4 years, with those internationals coming through to Cape Town in January. And I think it's opened a lot of eyes and has opened a lot of doors for us. And the future is bright in that. And if the doors can open, and I know there's a lot of pressure on Adrian Todd with that job, but he certainly is making inroads, and it's looking very positive.
Just to quickly chat on the Algoa Cup, because I know you were down there in Port Elizabeth a week or two ago, and once again, a fantastic day.
It's a great weekend. You know, I don't think racing folk in South Africa actually travel enough to go to these feature and festival days. That weekend was absolutely stunning. There was some really nice racing on the Poly on the Friday. And we then had a lovely opportunity to go play golf in St. Francis Bay on Cape St. Francis on the Saturday. Dorian Marksham organised a fantastic dinner at a Greek restaurant in Jeffreys Bay that Saturday night, which was for the charity, for the East Cape Horse Care Unit. And it was a fantastic day all round. And yeah, I think guys must actually start saying, you know what, let's get out, let's go enjoy racing in other provinces. The PE people are so hospitable. And I think the insert that you'll see that Andrew Bond produced will just show you that if you have got a gap and there's a weekend that you want to go to Port Elizabeth and enjoy some nice racing there as well, because their racing, let me tell you, is getting stronger and stronger. It's a great weekend to go to.
Well, once again, Nebula stole the show, winning back-to-back victories in the Algoa Cup for top trainer Brett Crawford. Andrew Bond brings us this report.
We all know that the wind blows like hell in Port Elizabeth, but when it's not blowing, it just happens to be one of the best kept secrets in South African horse racing. And with the arrival of a new sponsor for the Algoa Cup in the form and the shape of Sunshine Sweepstake, it really has to be one of the best days racing that I have ever attended. Larry Weinstein is the Chief Executive Officer of the Racing Association and tells us more.
Andrew, I share the same sentiments as you. I think Port Elizabeth, it's great to go and race there. The facilities where you're hosted are really of an exceptional quality, and they put on a good spread for the people. They're very welcoming, and everybody's part of a big family. And like all families, they do have their quibbles, but it's really is exceptional to go and race there.
From a horse care perspective, there are a lot of people there that seriously lead from the front. The shams are the people that come to mind immediately, but there are a lot of people that are not shy to put their hands in their pockets and make an effort, whether it's a jockey, whether it's a trainer. And Mr. Knowles has also climbed behind this initiative to a large extent, and I think there was quite a bit of fun had on Saturday night in Jeffreys Bay.
Yeah, Andrew, we do normally hold an auction on a Friday night the last couple of years, and it's to help fund the Eastern Cape Horse Care Unit. The position that they're in there is they take care of not just thoroughbreds. They go into the rural areas and they look and train and teach and fix up horses in the rural areas. Traditional racing, they train people how to fix wounds up, how to look after their horses. And they are underfunded, whether we like it or not. But it's not just thoroughbreds. So we also don't have all this money, but we try as best we can to support them and make sure that they get the money they need to go and do these initiatives, which, you know, they are proud of, and we're proud that we helped to assist them over the last 10 years. It's been happening from our side as the RA, and that's what that weekend's about, basically.
I've been to Megan Hope's unit, and I've seen donkeys, and I've seen mules, and I've seen horses that have definitely not been on a race course. So it is an onerous task because there are lots of people that still use carts in Port Elizabeth as they do on the Cape Flats.
There's no doubt, Andrew, and the terrain is actually enormous. They have the biggest areas to cover. So that's a challenge on its own.
Well, it might be a little bit of a hot potato, but I was there on the day of the Jockeys International when there was a bush race, inverted commas, or traditional racing as they call it. It was very, very well organized, and the horses looked really, really well. What has become of that initiative?
Andrew, that initiative has actually gone a step further. We had all the associations, the chairman of the associations there on Sunday, and they travelled up from Berlin, they travelled up from all the outlying areas, and we're busy with an initiative to bring their people to the racecourse and to see what happens on our racecourses with thoroughbreds, which they were doing on a regular basis. They'd have one race. But the challenge is to bring the people there. You'd want the two sports to integrate and expose them to thoroughbred racing, and with that they can bring crowds. They get far bigger crowds than we do, Andrew. With some of their meetings, they get 15 to 20,000 people because it's a community thing and it's a tribal thing and the chiefs involved. And so it is an amazing experience.
On the subject of bringing people to the racecourse, we've tried various different methods, but there's nothing quite like word of mouth. And it is alleged that there were some visitors from Switzerland, a mother and her two daughters, and other people for that matter, that were in earshot of this festivity that took place at the Greek restaurant on Saturday night.
The owner, George, who is an RA member and he is a racing man, he owns horses. We went to his place in Jeffreys Bay, which was fantastic. And that's where we hosted the event, where, you know, we had a meal and we then did some auctions, we did some presentations, and we raised money and broke the Greek plates, and very festive, and everyone had a good time. And in the restaurant was 3 visitors to South Africa. They were going up to the game park, and the guys were sitting at a table and sort of got chatting to them, and this mother and her 2 daughters from Switzerland were there, and Nathan, our esteemed new employee of Pumalele, who looks after the retail outlets, he got talking to them and started telling them about racing, and then said to them, well, why don't you come along on Saturday and we'll host you there? And everyone thought, yeah, well, okay, that's them. Yeah. And they phoned up Saturday and said, does the offer still stand? Yeah. And lo and behold, they arrived and all dressed up and looking smart and like for a race meeting, and they came to the race meeting and thoroughly enjoyed it. But that will be spoken about when they go back. And it's always a good thing when people talk well about South Africa, even if it's about racing, even if they don't go back to racing, but it's actually promoting South Africa and the actual hospitality of South Africa.
And then, of course, Nebula comes back and records a double. Those 2 races can put their hands up with any race in South Africa.
The actual standard of the fields that run was always something that people want to come to. The Algoa Cup is won, as you say, by some top horses. Nebula, if you look, he ran 3 lengths to Whiskey Baron, eh? And if you go back early on in the year before the July last year, he was touted to be Brett's July horse.
Nebula's coming out of the pack with Ollivander, Platinum Prince, but it's Nebula in the lead. He's got 1 length over Ollivander. Then comes Master Czar. It's Nebula, and he's going to go back to back. Nebula wins the Algoa Cup by 2. Ollivander's second.
So, I mean, there's a good standard, and it's a great race. Port Elizabeth are deserving of these horses to come and race, yeah? And long gone is the stigma that only retiring horses come to Port Elizabeth. You've got 2-year-olds stepping out in their career that come to Cape Town and come to Joburg, and they're able to compete. I think we've got some visitors here on Saturday from Port Elizabeth.
Folk dancers just digging down. Silver Thursday's running on, and Via Seattle's coming in and get them all on the inside. Via Seattle, Folk Dance second, Silver Thursday, and Witch of the West involved for minor position.
Well, Ashley Parker out at Ascot Stud has got 4 horses entered out at the Landsrack ready to run. So the first one is his own consignment, and he's got 3 that are consigned under agent. So firstly, let's welcome Ashley to the show. Ash, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, pleasure, Grant.
Now, you've got a couple of very interesting horses and some very nicely bred horses. Let's start with lot 13, which is the Dawn Approach, which obviously a son of New Approach, and he's done phenomenally well.
Yes, Grant, she came in as a weanling, and she just came to my farm and has just got better and better as time's gone on. She's got a great action, covers ground and nice big action, and a nice filly overall.
A great family as well, because you go back into that second dam, there you see Delta Form, who was pretty prolific here in South Africa.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, belonged to Ratner and Salzman and did extremely well, yeah.
Well, let's go on to the next one, which is lot 49. Now, this is your own Captain L, and this is a colt out of the mare Excellent. Tell us a bit about him.
Yes, he was a late foal, so I just left him alone, Grant, and he's grown into a strong, imposing colt. Also got a very nice action. They're all with Alan Creef, and they went on the grass the other day, and he put up a very nice gallop. I didn't see it, but apparently it was very nice.
Well, nice to have Captain L in your draft as well, because I think they're going to be pretty popular. There's not going to be too many left of them after the sudden and untimely demise of Captain L.
That's for sure, yeah. And they're hard to find in a sales arena at the moment.
Next one, another Captain L, this time under agent, and he looks to have a decent prospect as well out of the mare Hidden Silver.
Yes, he's a very strong, compact colt. He walks well and also moves very nicely, and I'm sure will put up a pretty good gallop.
Yeah, from the family of Hidden Beauty and Hidcote Ridge, so an Imperious Sue, so a nice female line to go through there. And then the last of your consignment, this is a Silvano colt called Jet Power out of the mare Jetstream Lady. Now, he's lot number 69, and again, from the family of Robinson Crusoe, and that I'm sure he'll have plenty of interest.
Grant, yes, he's a very big colt for Silvano, and lots of scope, and moves extremely well, and very pleasing to the eye as well.
Fantastic stuff. Let's just touch on last week, because we had the PE Raiders coming up to Turfentine, and they took home the lion's share of that feature race as well, bred by a filly. Well, you bred the filly via Seattle.
Yeah, Grant, I've actually just given her a flu at the stables. I'm in Betty Yard at the moment. She looks very well, travelled back well, and the intention is obviously to take her to the Cape Guineas now that she's proved that she's up to that standard. It was a great win for sale from Seattle again, so he just keeps on firing and doing extremely well at the moment.
Well, fantastic stuff. And firstly, thanks for joining us. We look forward to catching up with you out at the Landsrack ready to run. Congratulations on your last feature success. And we do know that when you breed horses out at Ascot Stud, you certainly deliver the goods as well. But Ash, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Grant. Cheers.
Cheers. Well, thanks very much to Ashley Parker. 4 horses, all of them appear to be top draw. Well, as we said, and obviously the show primarily focusing on the Landsrack ready to run that's going to be taking place. The gallop's on the 16th, and that's the Thursday morning, and followed by the sale taking place on the Friday night, the 17th. And then the 18th, some fantastic racing out at Kenilworth. It includes the Landsrack ready to run and also the Selangor Cup, along with a couple of other small features as well. So certainly well worth being there, and well worth putting your hand up in the tent on Friday night, because you want to have a chance at winning some of those races and having runners on some of these big days. So a lot to look forward to.
100%. Well, talking about big days, of course, our next big one here in Gauteng is on the 25th of November. We're gearing up for the Sansui Summer Cup. And once again, I think we're going to be in for a crackerjack day.
Absolutely. And Mike, as his horse put his name up and made himself a contender as well. And you've got to say, Abashiri certainly looks to be going the right way as well. I think it's going to be a great race. Looking forward to that. But first things first, we hope to see you out at Durbin Vale next week, the 16th and 17th. And thanks very much for joining us. And we look forward to catching up with you in 2 weeks' time on Breeding to Win.
Stand by. And they're racing in the Melbourne Cup.
Humidor jumped away only fairly and got a little bit of a brush. Single Gaze out well. Towards the inside, Max Dynamite midfield early. Johannes Vermeer out well with Boom Time and also Ventura Storm. Max Dynamite behind them. Speed from the outside. Hartnell is coming over with also Marmello, Sismontane and Gallant is very deep on the track. So onto the course proper after they complete 400. Boom Time is the leader with Sismontane and Gallant. Marmello behind them, followed by Johannes Vermeer, the inside of Hartnell. Max Dynamite about 7th on the rails. Then Al Mandan, who's 3 wide around Ventura Storm, rekindling on the fence. And then came Single Gaze. Next in the field is Big Duke between horses. Then came Bondi Beach, Wall of Fire. Emily Starr is wide and 2/3 down from LeBron as they run past the judge with a lap of the track to go. Red Cardinals trying to slot in on the outside of Humidor. Then came Nikita, 2 further back in the field. 3rd last here is US Army Ranger, and then towards the end of the field, Wicklow Brave. Thomas Hobson is last. Sismontane is the leader heading towards the riverside with approximately 2,000 metres to run. 3/4 of a length in front of Gallant, who's trying to inch a little bit closer on the outer. A length and a half to the Caulfield Cup winner, Boom Time, 3rd the rails. Then came Marmello, a length Johannes Vermeer on the fence from Hartnell. Then came Max Dynamite, Ventura Storm, rekindling tucked away on the inside midfield from Big Duke. Al Mandan will be 3 wide the trip. Bondi Beach on the fence from LeBron. And then came Single Gaze. Next Tiberian, who's wide from Nikita. Wicklow Brave is pulling as they try and slow it up mid-race. Further back is Wall of Fire. Towards the end, Thomas Hobson. And US Army Ranger is last in the Melbourne Cup. 1,400 metres to run. Sismontane in front by a length to Gallant. Boom Time is 3rd. 4th is Marmello. Every possible chance. Tiberian 5th, 3 deep. Johannes Vermeer next the inside from Hartnell. Then came Emily Starr, the outer. Next is Max Dynamite getting a cushy run about 7th on the inner from Ventura Storm. A length rekindling. Then Al Mandan and Big Duke. A length and a half to Single Gaze. And then Bondi Beach. Well back in the field then is LeBron. Wall of Fire. Humidor. Red Cardinal. Thomas Hobson the outside. And well back is Wicklow Brave and US Army Ranger. Sismontane in front, but Marmello's getting closer on the outside at the 800. Tiberian moves up to 3rd. Boom Time behind those in 4th. Johannes Vermeer right behind them. They were followed by Hartnell and Max Dynamite as they run the turn. Next Ventura Storm. Emily Starr, one of the widest with Single Gaze. Further back Wall of Fire and Big Duke. Al Mandan's in the pack as well. Sismontane and Marmello straighten for home, approaching the 400 metres. Johannes Vermeer moves up with Tiberian. Max Dynamite then rekindling, followed by Big Duke. Johannes Vermeer takes the lead. 200 metres to go. Johannes Vermeer in front, but here comes rekindling. Johannes Vermeer rekindling. Max Dynamite back to the inside of the 100. Johannes Vermeer rekindling, wearing it down. Johannes Vermeer and rekindling, stride for stride. Rekindling has won the Emirates Melbourne Cup. From in 2nd place, Johannes Vermeer. 3rd, Max Dynamite. Then came Big Duke. Next, Nikita Wicklow, Brave Marmello, followed by Tiberian. Then LeBron, Sismontane. Next, Thomas Hobson, Al Mandan. Well back in the field, Humidor, Red Cardinal, Single Gaze, Emily Starr, Wall of Fire, Bondi Beach and Hartnell. And Ventura Storm was amongst the tail enders with US Army Ranger.
Chasing shadows as Budapest puts 3, 4, 5 lengths ahead of himself and the rest.
Safe Harbour has taken off along the inside. Sergeant Heidi's crying for the line. Safe Harbour charges on. Safe Harbour gets there.
10. Carry On Alice breaks their hearts again.
Pulling clear in the closing stages. Smart Call wins the Jambi Mid. And Smart Call comes home to win it in the main Johns Farms Paddock Stakes.